My name is Robert Clark. I would like to introduce the latest advanced Jiu-Jitsu video by the World Jiu-Jitsu Federation. The tape, along with the previous two videos, Advanced 1 and 2, continues to explore the development of single Jiu-Jitsu techniques by linking them into a series of combinations and advanced training exercises. These modules are linked with moves from the existing World Jiu-Jitsu Federation syllabus. The techniques will be performed by Robert Clark's personal student, British national coach Alan Campbell. He is assisted by Simon Rimington, 5th Dan and senior coach with the World Jiu-Jitsu Federation. This is the first in a series of combination techniques, beginning with a push and finishing with a straight arm lock. All techniques will be shown at varying speed and at different angles. Throughout the video, we should highlight important points which we consider to be of importance in order to achieve a successful technique. It is important to step back on the left leg in order to defend yourself against the attacker's left punch. This technique employs a shoulder lock, followed by an outer hook throw with reverse crossover arm lock. An important point in this technique is the pivoting on the left leg prior to the kick. The hook throw is used to take the attacker down, step across and execute a figure 4 arm lock with neck and choke hold. A point to remember is to step forward on your right leg before applying the lock. On this technique, you can see the importance of the second lock, a wrist lock. This combination technique involves the defense against the kick, finishing with a hold down and double arm lock. It is important that whilst applying the wrist lock, to step backwards on your right leg. This will give you space and time to defend yourself against a further attack. This technique utilizes a wrist throw with lock. It is crucial to pin your attacker's elbow to the ground with your knee whilst applying the wrist lock. This is a variation using a combination of hold downs. If the elbow is pinned down effectively, any further attack can easily be avoided. This technique could be a defense against an overhead strike, maybe a baton or bottle attack. Prior to the bent arm lock being applied, it is advisable to strike to the solar plexus, therefore weakening the attacker's resistance. The position of the defender's left leg is crucial in defense of any further attack, which in this case would probably be a left punch. Pay very close attention to the position of the defender's feet during this technique. Step to the side whilst blocking, and a glancing strike using the palm heel to the chin will weaken the attacker prior to the wrist and elbow lock. This combination technique involves a defense against a double punch. The defense involves a headbutt, back hammerlock with takedown and strike to the throat. It is vital to reach over the opponent's shoulder as high as possible in order to execute an effective back hammerlock. Pressure is applied under the nose during the takedown. The strike to the throat is a leopard punch. A further attack can be employed by driving your right knee into your opponent's groin. This intricate technique involves 6 combination locks. Close attention should be paid to the timing of these locks. The strikes weaken your opponent, therefore enabling you to move him into a position without any resistance. The circular block becomes more effective if you move your left leg outwards at the same time. Moving this leg outwards means that you have enough space to perform a kick to the solar plexus. This technique uses lapel and shoulder throw. It is important that after taking your opponent's lapel, that you apply pressure with your elbow on your opponent's arm. This move will ensure your opponent raises on his toes, enabling you to throw without further resistance. To ensure that the hold down is effective, it is imperative that you lean forward when applying the lock. The kata begins with a push, and the first elements of the component techniques are shown. You can see from this angle the stress on the locks, and the footwork previously mentioned, giving the defender necessary time and space. Space is important. It gives you the ability to see a further attack. And this is the second video of the advanced component techniques devised by the World Jiu-Jitsu Federation. Here is an enormous speed compilation of some of the techniques. We make no apologies for reaffirming the necessity for good basic jiu-jitsu, which is positioning, footwork, and stances. These are all required to make the techniques effective. All these defenses are performed against being held by both hands from behind. Once again, the demonstrations will be done at various speeds and from different angles, with close-ups illustrating important points. All the techniques will incorporate blocks, throws, strikes, kicks and locks. You may think that arm locks, shoulder locks and wrist locks, having been derived from earlier syllabuses, have no place in the advanced Jujutsu program. On the contrary, these moves are an important element in making these component techniques work. In fact, the finish on this technique has come from an earlier syllabus. Pay close attention to the position of the defender's wrist and feet in the first part of this move. You can see from the back kick, the defender steps back onto his right leg. This is crucial in order to maintain stability in your stance. To the side of the face, where vulnerable areas include the eardrum, cheekbone and hinge of the jaw. An outer hook throw has been selected on the finish to this variation, but you could have easily used outer hock with a simple crossover arm lock. The practitioner must remember that all the moves, blocks and strikes learned during your first few months as a student can easily be introduced into this variation technique now. You can see from this slow motion demonstration the important points to remember. 1. Bring your arms up and round onto your hips. Invert your opponent's hands. Bang them together to release his hold. Step to your right, moving under his arm and into the combination arm locks. Note the glancing elbow strike to the chin. The blow should be aimed within half an inch of the center of the chin. This is the perfect knockout point. This is a variation of the previous technique. You can see how important it is when stepping back to stay close to your opponent. Because of this close proximity, any number of techniques could now be employed. The close proximity of attacker and defender, as previously mentioned, will make it that much easier for the defender to step under the opponent's arm and apply the wrist and shoulder lock. When the attacker counters to the shoulder arm lock by grabbing your hair, the defender can quickly move into a further arm lock and body drop throw. Kicking and punch prior to the throw is vital and should be aimed at the solar plexus. Although we have used a body drop throw, you could just as easily use an attacking sweeping loin with a shoulder pin. The knowledge of the basics will always remain the pure essence of good jiu-jitsu, and a defense against a fast front kick can sometimes prove quite daunting, even for the most experienced practitioner. A firm stance and confident grasp of the attacker's leading leg is vital. Turn his leg, pulling him towards you while kicking to the body. You can see how important it is to maintain distance from your attacker, and coupled with the fluidity, flexibility and coordination demonstrated here, will enable you to complete this series of techniques with ease. Pay close attention to defender's footwork, stepping in and out of each technique, which maintains his firm base during each move. Following the shoulder bar and having turned under the attacker's arm, it is very important to apply the correct pressure on this lock, as this will inhibit and narrow down your opponent's options. His only attack can be a right-hand punch to the stomach. This is naturally countered with a wrist throw with lock. In this technique, your opponent will attempt to counter the figure four arm lock with a left punch. You counter with a left cross block and a knife hand strike to the side of the neck. Following the knife hand to the neck, reach down, take your opponent's left ankle, push against his thigh, take him down to the ground, and apply a figure four leg lock. The finishing arm lock employed in this technique was originally used as a defense against a bottle attack to the face. If you bear this in mind, you can see the importance of having to step to the side whilst blocking. The effectiveness of this technique is enhanced by a short, sharp, clipping palm heel strike to the chin. One of the main points to remember during all these techniques is that while applying the shoulder bar lock, you must apply enough pressure to bring your opponent onto his toes, regardless of his height and build. You can clearly see defenders strike to the back of the neck, effectively stunning the opponent before applying the back hammer lock. Remember to take him down and strike to the throat. Blocking, it is important to take your attacker's arm as high as possible. This will give you the necessary space to perform the next blocking technique. The back fist is aimed at the back of the head. This is the final technique in this sequence.
Yes. Oh.
You can see how the syllabus lends itself to the progression of component advanced techniques. It is vitally important at all times during these techniques to tightly control your opponent by applying the correct amount of pressure to each lock. Your opponent should be only allowed to move by you releasing pressure on each individual lock.
Yeah.
This is a component kata with the option to vary the beginning and ending. The kata enables the practitioner to develop his own style. This kata should not be regarded as being restrictive in its contents or form. It is more concerned with the creative input of each individual student. They should attempt to stamp their own personal interpretation into this kata. So therefore, the partner you select to practice with must be in tune with the vision of what you'd like to achieve. This series of techniques involve escapes from a naked choke.
Yes, yes.
These 7 demonstrations will be developed further and combined with more advanced moves in the 3rd video of this series. This is an escape finishing with a knee wheel and hold down. Finish the technique with a double arm lock. This is way of an escape using a back hook and crossover arm lock. This is a variation, changing the crossover arm lock into a double shoulder pin. This is an escape using an inverted rice bale throw. This escape incorporates a full shoulder throw with a reverse step over arm lock.
Yes, yes.
The throw used in this technique is a lapel and shoulder throw. Finish the technique with an hold down with double arm lock. Now the defender moves into an inside hock throw, finishing with kicks and strikes to the throat. This throw is outer hock throw. You finish this with an Indian deathlock. It is advisable to practice all these techniques astutely, as they will form a firm basis for the more intricate combinations we will introduce on the next tape.